I used to fear wasting time. Now I fear spending it wrong. I used to collect opinions. Now I collect silence. Nobody warned me that growing older wouldn't just change what I see. It would change the eyes I see it with. From the moment we understand what aging means, we're handed a story. The story goes, you peak, then you decline. Youth is clarity. Age is fog. This story is everywhere. In the products sold to reverse aging, in the way our culture sidelines people the moment they're no longer in their 20s. We've been told that time takes things from you. And yes, it does. But what nobody tells you, what I had to discover by actually living it, is that time also gives you something. Something you cannot buy or fake. It gives you a different way of seeing. Harvard researchers have documented a positivity effect, a measurable shift in how the aging brain processes information. Older adults filter reality differently. The brain begins to prioritize emotionally meaningful information and quietly edits out the noise. Not because it's failing, but because it has finally learned what matters. Neuroscientists consistently find that judgment, emotional regulation, and the ability to hold complexity actually increase with age, even as processing speed slows. When you're young, time is the backdrop. You don't notice it. You waste evenings. Let seasons pass. The supply feels infinite. Then something happens. Usually it's a death, the first one that hits close. And on that day, for the first time, time becomes visible. You feel the weight of it, the fact that it moves only one direction. Psychologists call this mortality salience. Research shows it doesn't just affect mood, it restructures your entire value system. Dr. Laura Carstensen at Stanford has studied this for decades. Her socio-emotional selectivity theory shows that when people perceive time as limited, they shift from novelty to meaning, from breadth to depth, from anyone to the people they actually love. You stop filling your calendar to look busy and start protecting it. Every yes is a no to something else. You stop going to things you don't want to go to, not because you've given up, but because you've done the math. That is not cynicism, that is wisdom. One of the strangest gifts of age, you start to see through people. Not coldly, but you begin reading the story beneath the story. When you're young, you see performances, confidence, charm. You mistake loudness for certainty, charisma for character. Then slowly, over years, you accumulate enough experience to recognize patterns. You've seen this type, and you know how it ends. UC Berkeley research confirms emotional intelligence reliably improves with age. Older adults are significantly better at identifying authentic emotion versus performed emotion. But here's what nobody tells you. This gift can be lonely. When you see the insecurity behind the arrogance, the fear behind the anger, you hold knowledge the other person isn't ready to hear. The most humbling part? You start recognizing yourself in younger people making the confident, passionate, absolutely wrong decision. Oh, that's the mistake I made. You don't just see others differently. You finally see yourself too. When you're young, regret looks like failure. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, these sting. But something shifts. The failures fade. What grows in their place is heavier. The regrets of inaction, the things unsaid, the conversations postponed, the risks not taken because you were waiting for a better moment. Dr. Tom Gilovich at Cornell studied this across lifetimes. In the short term, people regret things they did. Over a full life, what haunts them most are the things they didn't do. The call to your parent you kept postponing until next week became never. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Stop saving your best conversations for the right time. Stop withholding the apology, the love, the risk. The only regrets that sit with you at 2 a.m., when no distraction can reach you, are the ones where you had the chance and let it pass. Don't let it pass. When you're young, you have a machine that carries you. You ignore every signal it sends. Then the body enters the conversation. A morning stiffness. A recovery that takes longer. A diagnosis that doesn't define you, but does redefine you. And what surprised me most, this isn't a loss. It's information. Your body has been talking for years. You just weren't listening. Neuroscience researchers studying interoception, the brain's ability to sense internal signals, find that this awareness improves decision-making. Sleep becomes sacred, rest stops being weakness, stillness stops being laziness. The shift, from body as instrument to body as partner. When you stop fighting your physical reality and start working with it, you feel more present, not despite slowing down, but because of it. When you're young, your opinion is your identity. You defend it like territory. Then something loosens. Most arguments aren't about truth, they're about ego. Once you've been on both sides of this enough times, you stop wanting to participate because you understand what they cost. Research on cognitive aging shows older adults are measurably better at tolerating ambiguity. Psychologists call this dialectical thinking. You stop needing the last word. This gets misread as apathy. It means something very different. It means you've learned to choose where you spend your fire. The people who no longer need to convince you of anything. That is the quietest, most underrated form of freedom I have ever witnessed. Here is something no one prepared me for. The most beautiful, most overlooked gift of getting older. The small things stop being small. The morning coffee, same cup, same table, starts tasting different. Not because the coffee changed, because you changed. Because you stopped drinking it while doing 6 other things. Because you arrived, finally, in the moment where it was happening. The light at a particular time of afternoon, a phone call with someone you love, a quiet Saturday, the sound of rain. These things were always there. You just weren't paying attention. Research consistently finds that present moment awareness increases with age. It was available here, all along, in the ordinary life you already have. The thing that surprises people most about truly wise older adults? They're not bitter about what age has taken. They're arrested by what it's given. Ordinary life, lived with full attention, becomes enough. Not as resignation, as arrival. Let me bring this together. Growing older, if you let it, if you pay attention, does something remarkable to the way you see. Time becomes precious. People become readable. Regret becomes a compass. Your body becomes a teacher. Opinions become something you hold lightly. Ordinary life becomes enough. This is what growing older gave me, not despite the losses, through them. The tragedy is not getting older. The tragedy is getting older without noticing what changed. Spending 40, 50, 60 years at full speed, accumulating, achieving, worrying, and never slowing down long enough to see what the years were trying to teach you. Most people only access this clarity through loss. You don't have to wait for that. You can borrow the perspective of your older self, right now, today, before the cost of learning it is too high. What will I regret not saying? Who deserves more of my presence? What am I rushing past that I'll never get back? Growing older didn't shrink my world. It sharpened it. And what I see now, with these slower, quieter, more honest eyes, is more real than anything I ever saw when I was running.